and one of them is one that is sad to talk about, but something important as well. With December 14th, right around the corner, marking 13 years since the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary took place, and that's when 20 first graders and 6 educators lost their lives. Well, in the wake of that devastating day, families of the victims founded Sandy Hook Promise, an organization dedicated to preventing gun violence by teaching communities to recognize the warning signs. Joining us this morning right now is Nicole Hockley. She's the co-founder of Sandy Hook Promise. And Nicole, we thank you for joining us this morning and sharing not only the mission of Sandy Hook Promise, but your personal story as well.
Thank you for having me so much today. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, Sandy. Thank you, or not Sandy, but Nicole, of course, talking about Sandy Hook. You lost your son, Dylan, back that tragic day. What can you share about him and what motivated you to co-found Sandy Hook Promise?
Yeah, well, both of my sons were at the school the day of the shooting. Jake was in 3rd grade at the time, and Dylan was in 1st. And Jake survived, and for that, I'm forever grateful. He's now 21, and Dylan was killed in his 1st grade classroom. He should be 19 now, but instead he is forever 6. But when I think about Dylan now, especially as we're approaching 13 years, I don't focus on how he died as much as how he lived and how much I loved him and how I want to ensure through Sandy Hook Promise and the legacy that we're building, that all children can live out their lives to their fullest attention, that they can thrive, that they can have joy and love and just live every single day. Dylan's life was very short, but it was very joyful and filled with love, and that is what I want for all children and for all families. So that is part of the deeper purpose of Sandy Hook Promise, for sure.
Absolutely. And the organization's mission is unique from other missions in preventing gun violence. How is that?
I think our main uniqueness is that we're strictly nonpartisan, because we don't see gun violence prevention and keeping kids safe as a political issue in any way, shape, or form. And it should never be a political issue. This is a moral issue. This is a human issue. We all want to keep our kids safe. So we are incredibly focused on what can we do in the days, months, or even years before someone picks up a weapon to hurt themselves or someone else? How do we make interventions happen in those earlier stages that can be more about social isolation or disconnection or hopelessness, and can lead through and escalate through a series of other warning signs before you ever reach tragedy? So prevention is really not reacting to something that's happening, but preventing it from happening in the first place, which is what Sandy Hook Promise was built to do.
We're looking at the video now that talks that what would you speak of knowing the signs and more of prevention. So walk us through somewhat of these warning signs that people should be aware of.
Sure. I mean, there's a large spectrum of warning signs, and a lot of these are also available on our website, sandyhookpromise.org, but they can sometimes be very overt in terms of bragging about wanting to do a school shooting, or fascination with previous school shooters, or bragging about access to weapons, or telling people, don't come to school this day or don't go to this event. But it can also be much more subtle. Really chronic social isolation or bullying or rejection, not being able to regulate emotions or manage anger, and feeling that you need to take revenge against people that you perceived have done you wrong. There's a huge amount of opportunities to intervene. And if we know more about how to recognize some of these signs, which mean that someone needs help, and we get them that help, then we're stopping a potential tragedy from happening by getting someone help that they need. So these signs can be cumulative, they can be over years, but every sign is important. So we always teach kids to take every warning sign seriously and act immediately, because you just never know at what level someone needs that help.
And there's a connection to Charlotte specifically with the Save Promise clubs, right?
Yes, yes. So SAVE Promise Club, SAVE stands for Students Against Violence Everywhere. And they actually originated back in 1989 in Charlotte, North Carolina, after a student by the name of Alex Orange was tragically killed. He was a student at West Charlotte High School, and the students and teachers there banded together to create SAVE clubs because they wanted to stop violence. And we joined with SAVE in 2017, I believe, and really have helped expand it. We're now in almost 5,000 clubs nationwide. And this is where it's really about student leadership and student empowerment to help take control and create positive change in their own school climate. They sustain the activities of the programs that we teach, they lead activities, and they're really saying, whether they're advocating or whether just teaching programs like Start with Hello and Say Something, they're helping prevent violence by bringing people together. It's an incredible thing. I think there's several hundred clubs in North Carolina alone already. About 840 clubs in North Carolina alone, which is just amazing.
No, that's great to hear because it really starts at that ground level with other students. I'm looking at some of the statistics in North Carolina. 8 schools, 8 shooting incidents this year. And when you hear something like that, what goes through your mind and what gives you hope that change is possible?
I know that change is possible because we see it happening. We see when students are sending in tips to the anonymous reporting system. We see it when students are reaching out to each other and creating connection and community within schools. This is a way to avert tragedy. Can we ever say that this would have absolutely happened, even if there is means, access, and weapons? No. But when we know it reaches that point, that we have a severe tip, a life safety tip, and we're able to make an intervention because whether it's dozens of students who spoke up because they saw the threat or heard the threat, or whether it's just one student, that's a very powerful thing to help ensure that schools remain safe, that communities remain whole, that kids come home from school to their parents each day, and that we're not seeing these tragedies and that they're not experiencing what my family has experienced for these last 13 years and so many other families as well. So it really is the power of making change.
Yeah. I mean, December 14th obviously is a day that we all remember, but you, like you said, deal with it every day, every year for the past 13 years. On Remembrance Days, what's the takeaway for our viewers to have that hope?
I think, first of all, everyone needs to know that gun violence and school shootings are completely preventable. These are not normal. This is not a fear that we should have about our kids, and our kids should not have these fears every day, because by recognizing the warning signs, we can intervene. By taking appropriate steps, by listening to our kids, we can help them to stop danger and improve our overall climate. So every Remembrance Day, I always ask that people remember all 26 victims from Sandy Hook, and there are websites that are dedicated to every family member, every educator and administrator, so you can learn more about their personal legacies. For Sandy Hook Promise, I ask people to take part in our 14 days of action. Know that gun violence is preventable. Make the promise at our website to join in our movement, and treat everyone with kindness and compassion, because you never know what someone else is going through and how even just a smile and saying hello can make a big difference.
Certainly part of the legacy you're building in Dylan's memory as well. Nicole, if you want to give out that website once more, that people can take some action today.
Lovely. Please go to sandyhookpromise.org. Make the promise to protect kids from gun violence and school shootings, and then learn more about how you can make a difference in the life of someone else.
Nicole Hockley, thank you so much for joining us from Sandy Hook Promise. Appreciate the conversation.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.